The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Aging Horizons. We have a special guest with us today, and he's going to be talking about our Social Security retirement benefits. As you know, that's a very important topic, and we need to be ready for it. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Hey caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
We love to get outdoors, so if we have any free time, that's pretty much where you can find us.
Bailey Tolson, East Helena.
We love to hike. Any chance we get, we're out there. And of course, there's always date night.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it. To learn if you're eligible, call 1-800-224-6034.
We love date night.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $70 billion nationally. Medicare processes 4.5 million claims a day. They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen.
Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected.
1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
I was the last guy you'd expect to get diabetes. I was a competitive runner and I always took care of myself. So when I was diagnosed, it kind of threw me. But it's really encouraging to know I'm not alone with it. There are a lot of other people going through the same things as I am. It takes some effort. You have to keep after it. Exercise, meds, and diet are the key. But there are a lot of folks who want me to succeed. Diabetes is not the end of the world. With effort and attitude, you can have a normal life.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. This is a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, Senior and Long-Term Care Division. Today we have as our special guest David Baer. David is Social Security from the Social Security Administration, and we are going to be talking about retirement benefits. We're going to be talking about the changes in 2026. Our guest, David, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here to discuss the new changes that came about as of January of 2026.
Great. Let's start with the basics, David. We know every program has eligibility requirements, and Social Security is no different. So what are some of the eligibility requirements for Social Security?
All right, that's a good question. So in order to become eligible for Social Security benefits, you have to pay what is called FICA taxes, or sometimes it's called OASDI, Old Age Survivors and Disability Insurance. So that if you work and pay those taxes, you earn what we call credits. Okay, so to earn one credit in 2026, you have to earn $1,890 and pay the FICA taxes on those earnings. And you can earn up to 4 credits per year. Okay? And to have what we call fully insured status, you need to earn 40 credits. So to earn 40 credits, that equates to about 10 years of work. Okay, so that makes you fully insured. And once you're fully insured for retirement, you can actually draw a retirement benefit as early as age 62 and be eligible for Medicare as early as age 65.
Yes, okay. David, I heard you talk about FICA. What is it? FICA? Let's get to the basics.
All right. So FICA is the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. So it's a federal payroll that's tax deducted from your paychecks. And what happens is it's a total percentage of 15.3% of gross wages, but as an employee, you don't pay the full amount. It's actually split between 50% that you pay, and then the employer pays the other half. So you pay 7.65%, and then the employer pays the other 7.65.
So I heard you talk about 10 years. So do you have to work 10 years consecutively, or how does that work?
No, so it doesn't have to be consecutive. So it could be just as long as it's throughout your lifetime prior to drawing retirement benefits, you need to get those 40 credits, okay? And for instance, let's say somebody didn't quite make enough to get all 4 credits one year, they could get maybe 1 credit in a year, 2, 3, or get all 4. But as long as it doesn't even have to be essentially 10 years, they just have to get those 40 credits.
Okay.
So like I said, yeah, somebody, let's say I only made $1,900 this year. Well, I would earn 1 credit. If I did that for 40 years in a row, I'd still get that insured status. So it equates into 10 years if you're working full time, but really it's just getting those 40 credits.
Great. Many viewers have asked about the cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for Social Security benefits. What is the COLA for 2026?
So the COLA for 2026 was 2.8%. So that's how much the increase was. And the cost of living allowance is calculated using Consumer Price Index for wage earners and clerical earners. So it's determined every year. What they do is they look at the third quarter of the current year. Okay, so that third quarter, and they look at the previous year's third quarter to determine how much that cost of living allowance was.
So besides monthly benefits payment, what other numbers at the Social Security Administration are affected by COLA?
That's a good question. So the COLA doesn't just impact the monthly benefit amounts. It also adjusts a lot of our other figures internally as far as Social Security goes. If it increases the maximum amount of earnings subject to Social Security payroll taxes. It adjusts our computation figures on how we actually determine individuals' benefits. It also affects our other programs' supplemental security income because it'll increase that federal payment standard as well. It also raises up our earnings limit, like the work and earnings limit. If somebody files for early retirement, it raises that amount as well. And it's all raised exactly the amount of the COLA. So for instance, if there is a 5%, and I don't know what their COLA is going to be for this year, but let's say there's a 5% cost of living allowance for this year, that means all of those numbers will increase by 5% next year, okay? And that's effective January 1st.
Great. So we have a little time. We'll be taking our first break, and we'll be coming back and talking about retirement benefits, how is it calculated, and all of that. So to our viewers, stay tuned, get your coffees, stay tuned, and we will be right back with more information from David Bayer of the Social Security Administration.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
I have so many questions about power of attorney.
Well, some powers of attorney are for finances and others are for healthcare decisions.
A power of attorney designates an agent who would make decisions on your behalf.
While making a power of attorney, you have the ability to control your agent's power.
You also have the ability to decide when that POA would take effect.
Wait, am I giving away all my rights?
Power of attorney isn't a license to make any decision for you, just those that you've specified.
Your agent should be somebody that's working in your best interest, but it should also be somebody that you would trust.
What if they try to abuse their power?
Protective measures like third-party accounting, secondary signatures, defined spending and gifting limits can help protect against financial exploitation. An agent's powers can always be limited by a customized power of attorney, and they can be revoked by you or the court if the power of attorney is abused.
So carefully drafted estate planning documents can help ensure that your finances are monitored, but not abused.
If you or someone you know is being exploited, please report to Aging Services Bureau at 844-277-9300 or the Legal Service Developer at 1-800-332-2272. This message sponsored by the DPHHS Aging Service Bureau.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
Hello and welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Will McCullins. Today we're talking to David Bayer of the Social Security Administration. He's going to be talking, and we'll continue to talk about our retirement benefits, the updates, and every little information he can give us. So, David, let's start with how are the retirement benefits calculated?
We determine somebody's monthly benefit amount by their actual earnings. So what we do is we first adjust their lifetime earnings that they've paid Social Security on for inflation. Okay, because we understand that if you made $20,000 in 1970, it's not the same as making $20,000 today. So we adjust those earnings to today's dollars. And once we've adjusted them for inflation, what we do is we pick out the highest 35 years of earnings. And that gives us what we call averaged indexed monthly earnings, or AIME for short, because that's kind of a mouthful. And if you don't have 35 years worth of earnings, there will be 0 years in the calculation. But once we figure out those high 35 years and we get the AIME, that average index monthly earnings, we then enter it into a formula that gives us, and it's the same formula for everybody, we just assign a percentage to the earnings that we're going to replace because it's a wage replacement insurance program, and that's how we determine, but we do look at that high 35 years of earnings.
Great. So what is the earliest an individual can draw on their benefits? Is there a downside to drawing early? Is there an upside? What is it?
Well, you have to, the earliest you can file for retirement off of your own earnings record is age 62. Right? Full retirement age, if you were born after 1960, is 67. Now, if you take your benefits early at age 62, your benefits will be reduced by 30%. Okay, and that reduction will stay with you. It doesn't, it doesn't increase. Like if you took it at 67, and when you reach full retirement age, you won't get that full retirement age benefit. Once you draw, you're pretty much locked in to that benefit amount. So there's a lot you have to take into consideration when drawing your benefits early. And one thing I highly encourage everybody to do is set up a My Social Security account at myssa.gov. And if you go into that, it's ssa.gov/my account. If you will go into that, it can actually tell you what your benefit estimates are for those different age categories.
So what happens? Is it possible to go beyond age 67? And is there a penalty? Is there a benefit to going beyond age 67 to draw your benefit?
No, you can wait till past age 67. And actually, for every year you wait past full retirement age, which for most people now is going to be 67, you get an 8% increase in your benefit, and it's called delayed retirement credits. And you get an 8% increase all the way up till age 70. So if you waited till age 70, if your benefit was, say, $2,000 at 67, you'd have a 24% monthly increase. So your benefit would be $2,480 if you waited till age 70. The benefits don't grow past age 70. So usually for most people, there's no benefit to waiting past age 70.
So 70 is the cutoff.
Well, yeah, it's not a cutoff, but yes, you should. There's no point in really waiting past age 70 to draw your Social Security benefits.
Yeah, and another very important topic, because I've had this a lot of time. People have asked about this. Can you explain how working while receiving benefit affects payment? What should people watch out for?
Yeah, so if you file under full retirement age, so from age 62 up through 67, there is a work and earnings limit. And for 2026, that's one of those numbers that's affected by COLA. For 2026, you can earn up to $2,480 without it affecting your benefit. But if you earn over that, you have to pay your Social Security benefits back on a 2-for-1 basis. So if somebody earned $26,480, they earned $2,000 over the limit, they'd have to pay $1,000 back to Social Security. Okay. Now, it is important to note that withheld benefits are not lost. If somebody has to pay benefits back because they say drew at 62, earned over the earnings record, when they reach full retirement age, we'll actually recalculate their monthly benefit amount and give them credit for the months that they weren't paid. So it could, if somebody, say, did draw at 62, worked over the earnings limit, paid some back, when they reach full retirement age, we'll say, yeah, you filed at 62, but we would also withheld 6 months worth of your benefits. So we're going to pretend you filed at 62 in 6 months, and they'll actually increase their benefit amount.
Thank you. Let's quickly, before we go to our next break, are Social Security benefit taxable?
They can be, and it depends on how much income you have. And now this is an IRS rule, and the IRS rule says if that you have what they call combined income, which I recommend you visit irs.gov, and you can enter in their search engine to help figure out your combined income. But if you are, if you are a single individual, that's your filing status. If you have combined income over $25,000, your Social Security benefits start becoming subject to federal income tax. Married filing jointly, that if it's more than $34,000, it can start becoming subject to that federal income tax as well. But highly recommend talking to a tax professional and going to the irs.gov. We at Social Security just want to make sure people are aware of it and they're planning for that potential, but we're not tax advisor.
Thank you. Thanks. Now, don't go away. We have so much more information on Social Security benefits, retirement benefits. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Can you say ombudsman?
Ombudsman. Benson?
Uma Doodlesman? Fortunately, you don't have to say it right to get the help of a long-term care ombudsman. If you or a loved one reside in assisted living or long-term care, an ombudsman can help resolve any issue. And these services are completely free and confidential. Now, why don't you try that again?
Ombudsman.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Benefits can be complicated. Getting help shouldn't be. Montana Veteran Service Officers offer free, confidential assistance to help veterans understand and receive the benefits they've earned, state, federal, and beyond. There's never a charge, only support. Connect with your local VSO today. Call 406-324-3742 or visit veterans.mt.gov. Montana Serving Veterans.
Brought to you by Montana Veteran Affairs Division and this station.
We're back, and we will continue our discussion with David Baird of the Social Security Administration. David, let's look at spousal benefits. I understand spouse can file off your benefits. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there is. Yes, sir. There is a potential for your spouse to receive a benefit off of your record. That is if your benefit is less than half of theirs. So what we would do is we would combine them to give where your benefit would equal half of theirs, and that would work out at full retirement. Of course, if you file earlier, it can affect those numbers, or if there's an age gap between, say, I filed at 62 and my wife filed at 66, and I'm 4 years younger. Well, I filed for early retirement. I wouldn't get exactly half because I filed early. So there is that reduction for filing early. But if we both filed at full retirement age and my benefit was less than half of hers, I would draw my benefit, and then they would give me a little bit off of hers to increase mine to 50%. Or if I wasn't insured, I would just draw, like if I didn't have my 40 credits, I would draw off of her and get half of what her benefit was.
So I know with the Social Security benefits, we still have Medicare. Can you explain the Medicare and its premiums for 2026?
Yeah, so at Social Security, we enroll and disenroll and bill people for Medicare Parts A and B. Now, Medicare Part A is hospital insurance, and there isn't a premium attached to Medicare Part A. Medicare Part B is the medical insurance, which covers, doctor visits, checkups, ambulatory care, those types of things. And the standard Part B premium for 2026 is $202.90. Now, it is important to understand, though, that is one of those numbers that is not subject to that COLA. That one is determined a little bit differently than the COLA. It's not directly related to the COLA.
Okay. How can people apply for benefits or manage their Social Security accounts? Are there any tips that you have that we can use?
Yes, we have a great tool at Social Security. It's actually called the My Social Security Account. My Social Security account is great, and I believe that everybody that's over the age of 18 that has a valid email address and is a U.S. citizen should actually set one of these accounts up. Now, to create an account, we are using third-party credentialing services. We're using login.gov or ID.me. So if you already have one of those, you can use it to set up that My Social Security account. And once you have that account set up, it is your account. So you can go in there, like I mentioned earlier, look at your earnings record, verify we have that up to date and correct. You can see how much your benefits are going to be, the estimates on it. You can file online. And if you apply online, you actually can track the status of the application and see where it's at. And then once you're on benefits, this thing, it again, your account, you can use it to update your address, get replacement documents, say a 1099 or benefit verification letter. For Montana residents, if they need a replacement Social Security card, even if they're not on benefits, they can order one of those. Or if they get married, they can actually change their name and update it through that My Social Security account. So just a ton of cool things. And we're always adding more things and expanding what you can do with that My Social Security account. So highly encourage everyone to set one of those up and to utilize those tools to help you plan for your retirement and beyond.
Thanks, David. My next question, David, is I know there are common mistakes that we all make when planning for retirement. How can we avoid some of those common mistakes?
So one common mistake is not checking your earnings record, because mistakes can happen. And if we don't have your correct earnings record, well, your benefits aren't going to be computed correctly. And for instance, let's say there was some mistakes made in your 20s, you go to file in your 60s, more than likely you're not going to have the documentation to update those. So highly encourage people, log on to that My Social Security account once a year, every other year, verify that your earnings are being posted correctly. Another is claiming benefits too early without fully understanding that long-term impact. For instance, you draw at 62, that's what your benefit is going to be locked in at. I mean, you will get cost of living allowances, but you are reduced at that lower amount. And remembering taxes, okay, and healthcare costs in retirement planning. It's to look at make sure when you're getting ready to draw your Social Security benefits or planning for retirement, is you're looking at your whole financial picture to make sure that you're making wise decisions.
So David, quickly, if I had to call you to discuss this, is there a number on your website we could use?
Yes, sir. So another way to reach Social Security is through our phone system. Excuse me. We have our national 1-800 number, which is 1-800-772-1213. And we have agent staffing that call from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And also there's other services that you can request after hours, some things that you can do through our automated processes as well. So that is another option for contacting Social Security is through our phones.
Thank you, David. David, I want you to know that we appreciate all the information you provided to us today. And to my viewers, I want to let you know, see you next time. We will be back with Aging Horizons.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.